Hello, today I would like to explore some of the books that I have been reading through the years. As you might know, I like to read at least a book per month to keep the habit of not only reading but of deep work. That is to be able to concentrate on only one thing at a time. The objective of this video is to explore briefly the implication of some of the books that I have read about the argument against or in favor of the existence of God and how they have expanded my view of society, human nature, and life in general. Okay, a little bit of background. A few years ago, I decided to read mainly about the existence of God, and that is how I developed a reading habit. However, after those years, I began to read about other topics, like for example, psychology, education, cognitive science, and so on. But here, I would like to show you some of the books that I highly recommend if you would like to have a wide perspective of our existence and of the universe itself. The first book was a recommendation from a friend of mine who is a believer. The book is called The Return of the God Hypothesis. This book honestly is one of the best books I have read, not only because of the argument he presents about the potential existence of God, but of the history of science. For example, on many occasions we think or we assume that religion and science are against each other. As the author explored in the book, Christianity was the driving force behind the emergence of science. It was believed that the universe was designed by a mind that created the human brain so that humans could understand the universe itself. Of course, this view is based on the design argument, and even though I don't agree with this claim or this view, throughout the book he described how the battle between science and religion began and the evolution of our understanding of the universe. But his main thesis is about the origin of life and the DNA enigma. His argument is based that the information in our DNA is mostly the best evidence we have for the existence of God. Why? Because the probability for nature making something so complex like the information in our DNA is so extremely unlikely to happen as a random event that for him, the author, it demands a creator, that is, a God. Of course, there are many ways you can debate this claim, but I will not tackle that in this video. The second book I will recommend is God is Not One. This book is practically a review of the biggest religion in the world. The chapter on Judaism is very interesting. When you read that chapter, you understand that Judaism is more about practice than just a belief. What keeps you active is participating in the life of the Jewish community. Even though most Americans or here in Puerto Rico call themselves Christian, few maintain the ritual and practice that entails Christianity itself. So being able to understand how religious denominations fluctuate in their practice and tradition among the people that follow them makes you see how religion as a whole is so complex and diverse that for me to be a believer, you should read not only the religion that follow your culture, but you should read most of them. Okay, this is the last book that I will present. This is the best book about this matter in my personal library. The author is a cognitive anthropologist. Even reading the education of the author is something that blew my mind because I didn't even know that this specialization exists at all. The book is mainly about how the nature of the mind basically frames our way of believing and seeing our environment. He explained that our minds are not like empty boxes or like a whiteboard. Minds that acquire knowledge are not empty containers into which experience and teaching pour predicate information. He explained that our minds create like a template of our environment. For example, you don't need to teach an infant that when a cat is pregnant, it will give birth to little cats, that it won't give birth to little elephant or rat. This is an inference, a template that our mind creates. Okay, so these are the 3 books that I recommend if you would like to understand more about the existence of God, about our existence, about the origin of the universe. I really believe that everybody should read about those topics, about those philosophical arguments. Why? because understanding our consciousness, understanding our nature, understanding the origin of the universe is something that makes us more human.